And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me and hopefully interests you. And it's a busy toy news week as we're getting on the road to San Diego Comic-Con about a month from now. A lot of toy news going up, a lot of pre-orders going up as we dive into San Diego Comic-Con here in about a month or so. So we're going to dive into that news here. But before we dive into that, we got some housekeeping on this, my birthday weekend. Is early next week. It will be my birthday. So happy birthday to me. How about that? But dangerously close to another birthday is what we'll say. But of course, Patreon, the month of June, the giveaway this month. Walmart exclusive, Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks. Check out the Patreon. Of course, you guys do know you get early access to both YouTube channel videos. You get all the glamour shots, Q&As, giveaways, you name it. It's all going down over on the old Patreon channel. So shout out to all the Patreon members. And if you do need a copy of my book, I do have 2 hardcover editions left for $100, $35 cheaper than Barnes & Noble. I also got some softcover editions. So if you need those, you guys know where to hit me up by now, I think, at this point here. So we got that going on. Did a little housekeeping here. But now let's get into the news, and we got a lot to talk about, as I did say. And we're going to start it off with San Diego Comic-Con 2024. I did do a separate video on Thursday after the announcement. Of course, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12 Ultimate Edition. It is coming out. A controversial one in a lot of ways. And if you guys remember back to last year when we talked about the Muhammad Ali, how I said it was controversial, I didn't feel it would sell very well. I think I've been proven right a year later here, as those did not fly off the shelves. You can still get them at Mattel Creations. To me, it makes Mattel probably say, hey, maybe we don't need as many San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So I do feel in my bones, deep in my bones, that maybe this Shawn Michaels will sell a little bit better than Muhammad Ali. However, like I said in that video, a little disappointed. We're in so deep with Hulk Hogan figures this year for his 40th anniversary. Feel almost like we should have went all in and got a Hogan exclusive. Be it the pirate shirt, pirate Hulk Hogan from Mania like 4 or 5 years ago, Suburban Commando, Mr. Nanny, or I would have loved to have seen that Shawn Michaels as Hulk Hogan. I think that would have been really cool as a San Diego Comic-Con. But I think they played it pretty safe, and they gave us one that really felt like it could be a mainline release in Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12. I guess he's Mr. WrestleMania. I guess it's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, so it does make sense. I think it's a good figure, and as we talked about in that video, we've had this figure numerous times already from Mattel, but this should be the ultimate version. Now, we do get a zip line with this. That is totally new. Unfortunately, no string included. Not that it's hard to find a string somewhere. I get it. Or get some dental floss out of your bathroom. Do whatever you got to do. But it would have been nice to have something like that included. And there is a little bit of a controversy. Dare I say conspiracy? No, Mark Summers, I don't say conspiracy on this one here. Mark was like, oh boy, here it comes, the Jesse drop. Nope, no Jesse, Mark. But very interesting, I would say, that a lot of people are up in arms, I would say. Once again, I'm saying a lot of things, but people up in arms about no Winged Eagle title belt. And I see both sides of that one. It is the Ultimate Edition. They are referencing in some of the shots him winning, of course, beating Bret Hart on the Iron Man match. Feel like we should have probably had the world title belt there, but some would say, hey, it is his entrance. That's what it's depicting. Guess what? He won the title in the match. He didn't come into the match with it. So I see both sides of the fence, but I feel like for a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, for this being the Ultimate Edition, probably should have thrown it in there. You didn't have to display it in the package. You could have hit it back with the extra heads, things like that. But it is what it is. It's good packaging. It's a nice one. Shawn Michaels, heavy favorite for a lot of people in the community, the action figure collectors, of course, Mr. WrestleMania. So it does make sense, but for me, I'm looking for off the beaten path, off the wall stuff. For San Diego Comic-Con, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being a long-time collector, where newer collectors, hey, they want something like this. And maybe just ancillary collectors want things like this. But really, when you get down to it, it almost feels and almost looks like it could have been an Amazon exclusive sometime this year. We got that Razor and HBK ladder match this year. That kind of felt like it was in line with that kind of thing, with the packaging and stuff. So I wouldn't say it totally knocked me over, but but I do think it is good. I think it does warrant a spot in many people's collection. It is truly a big WrestleMania moment, so it checks a lot of boxes. So, you got to vote with your wallet like we always do say, and see how you feel. And I guess you guys sound off in the comments once again. I know I gave some hints last weekend. It got some people in an uproar out there, but I didn't go out and say it. I could have easily done a video just announcing it to the world. I could have got all the clicks in the world and done that, but no, I buried it in the middle of a video. So some people saw it, a lot of people did not see it. So a lot of people were totally surprised by this, and you should have been, because I was just giving hints, and a lot of people said, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, as usual, and maybe I do, maybe I don't. But you guys should be excited about this HBK, I guess, for the most part. For the most part, it was excitement. Whether or not you like the figure or not, there was excitement around it. So we got to mention that at least. And we're not done. Of course, Jazzware's around the corner, Master Republic, and of course, Big Rubber Guys, Major Bendies. They're going to have exclusives. It sounds like Vampiro is going to be the exclusive for Master Republic. That's kind of been out there. We'll see what Big Rubber Guys come up. I've heard some rumors. A pretty exciting one, I think. And then, of course, Jazzwares. They're on the clock as well. What could we get from Jazzwares? I'd like to see something for Sting. It's Sting's final year's final match. I think that would make a lot of sense. Some people stinged out. I understand that as well. But it sounds like if Jazzwares does come with one, and I fully expect them to, it's not going to be announced till a little closer to San Diego Comic-Con. So we're not going to have a month out or anything like that. It's going to be pretty close to the event, the actual show. So we'll see what happens. And I have felt last year's San Diego Comic-Con, the Jazzwares exclusive was the hardest exclusive to get. So we'll see if that warrants and repeats itself this year. We'll see what happens there. But now we turn our attention to some other wrestling figure news. We did see Ultimate Edition Greatest Hits from Ringside shipping right now. I think mine are supposed to be here on Monday, so we'll take a look at those maybe next week on the channel. It is a re-release of that Amazon Rock, and then of course the Target Batista with a few tweaks and a few changes. And one of those changes is 2 different packaging styles. Some in the red packaging, some in the white packaging. That's got to drive Ultimate Completist absolutely insane. I am lucky I cashed out on my Min On card set, I don't know, 6 months ago, 5 months ago, what is time? Because this would have been the one that drove me over the edge. I would have said, okay, I'm done being a completist in the Min On card and loose. I'm just sticking to loose going forward. Because as much as I like that Rock and Batista, I don't need 2 different packaging styles for it. I just don't need that. And I think a lot of people feel in that same way. But man, you guys completists hanging in the game there, man, my hat's off to you if I was wearing one. So make note of that if you're ordering them from Ringside. Use discount code Kyle, save 10%. A few other things that we missed out. Of course, a week ago we did a wrestling news video. There was a few more things that kind of trickled out. We did see the newest top pick set. It's going to be LA Knight, Dominic Mysterio, and Seth Rollins in the basic form. Not for me, probably not for most of you as well. We did see a 2-pack that's rumored to go to Sam's and BJ's. We'll see if that ends up happening. All BJ's Club. It's not just a club store anymore, I guess, old BJ's. But we do got Roman Reigns, LA Knight with a child's title belt. Is what it is. Really gives you those old school Jakks vibes is what that gives me. But one that I think is really, really cool that I would pick up if I came across, it is a main event basics, main event, you know that. It is Imperium 3-pack. Pretty cool to see in pack like that. Would be great for autograph collectors. A very fun pack right there. Wish it was an elite one with all the bells and whistles, but we'll take what we get, I guess. But a very cool moment in time for Imperium there. If that is your thing, we'll see where that ends up going. Maybe Sam's Club, maybe not. We'll have to stay tuned to that in the future. I did get an interesting email from Amazon. It's been a weird year, and it sounds like this line is officially canceled. It was the WrestleMania main event basic, once again, whatever you want to call it. WrestleMania 1 this year. Batista was in that set, and then there was a referee, Muhammad Ali. Well, that Muhammad Ali went up for Amazon, and it went up for pre-order. Well, unfortunately, just yesterday, I got an email from Amazon. They can't source the item. They canceled my order, so it looks like that set is immediately gone. I don't know if that referee, Muhammad Ali, will come out somewhere. Feels like they should release it somewhere along the way in the basics, but I don't know. Maybe they're saying, hey, that Coliseum collection's good enough, and they still got some of those Coliseum collections to sell. Maybe they said, hey, we don't want this main event basic style out there to dilute some of those sales. So very interesting, but it looks like that set is totally done. So take that for what you will. A little more wrestling news this week. Big Rubber Guys did the official announcement. We knew they had Matt Hardy. Well, now they have Jeff Hardy signed. Sounds like Jeff Hardy will go up for pre-order in August for the Big Rubber Guys. Have to imagine Major Bendies around the corner as well. And you think they put out a lot of Macho Man? Man, they could do so many different Jeff Hardys with face paint, no face paint, you name it. It'll be interesting to see what we get with Jeff Hardy over the next year or so from the Big Rubber Guys and Major Bendies. But stay tuned in August for that one there. We did see the next Vault release, June 26th, the day after my birthday. Mark your calendars for both events, of course. But we do got a 2-pack from Ring of Honor. We got Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly 2-pack. Man, oh man, a plain Jane 2-pack. I do remember this tag team, though, back in the Ring of Honor days, watching Ring of Honor. But possibly the plainest 2-pack we've ever got from the Jazz Warriors team. A pretty good exclusive online, because I don't think it would do very well at retail. But if you're into that, it looks like the 26. A lot of people worked up. There's no Briscoes. Maybe they're coming in July. We'll have to stay tuned for that. I'm sure we'll see those at San Diego Comic-Con here in a month or so. So we'll stay tuned to those. And speaking of AEW, it sounds like Unrivaled Series 15 shipping from Ringside right now. I should have those early next week as well. Start the unboxing process of those. A mixed bag set on first impression. We'll see how they are here at the table next week. So stay tuned for that in the future. How about Top Rope Collectibles? We've been talking about them. They're Galoob style lines. They showed up PN News this week. They showed a nice picture of him fully painted instead of the grayscale one. Looks like the PN News prototype from back in the day. Looks like it fits in with the Galoobs. Very interesting times if you're a Galoob fan. And I don't know if there's a ton of Galoob fans out there, but color me interested for sure, as being a very young kid collecting the Galoobs. Going to my KB toy store, trying to find that Butch Reed. Never easy to do. But I really do like the looks of these, so we'll see how they are once again when we get them at the table. We also saw the packaging design for PN News. Got a little bit of a Galoob feel there. I don't think it's terrible. PN News looks a little weird in the picture there. It's kind of an artistic drawing. I'd rather have a real picture, but it is hard to get licensing for real pictures, as we do know, so that's probably the reason for that. But we do got PN News on the way from them. Sounds like maybe August pre-order. I guess we'll wait and see once again, see when that comes. And then we announced it last week and talked about it last week. Got a cool video this week. The Matt Maniacs, and they're coming to us for pre-order on July 12th. It is going to be the Steiner Brothers. It is going to be the Legion of Doom. Two of the greatest tag teams of all time. Two teams that are definitely on the Mount Rushmore of all time for me as far as tag teams go. Very stylized, kind of looks like a video game character. That's kind of what it looks like to me. So they're really not going to be for everybody. There's a lot of Hasbro retro style collectors that want these, myself included. I just wish it was maybe on first impressions, looking at the pictures, more realistic, more lifelike, but I get what they're going for. I get the aesthetics of this one here. So once again, we'll get at the table. We'll see what we think about it. But man, you can't start off hotter than those two tag teams as far as I'm concerned. Love LOD, love the Steiners. Hopefully we get more LOD and Steiners from other companies as well as we go into 2024 and into 2025. So Matt Maniacs, July 12th. Be there or be square, maybe. Heels and Faces this week. Keeping on the retro wrestling news. Series 4 going up 9/26. September 26th. You got Abdullah the Butcher. You got Mike Awesome. You got Tajiri. You got Bad News Brown. And you got the Nature Boy Ric Flair Bloody Edition. Oh my gosh. Give me all the Ric Flair Bloody Editions. I wish there was another Ric Flair Bloody Edition out there. I wish we could get the Elite style. Give me all the Ric Flairs in bloody versions. I'm here for a bloody Ric Flair. I'm here for that. But a very interesting one. Of course, this week we do know Series 3 is up for order. I guess not pre-order because they're shipping right away, but now there's been a delay with Power and Glory. Either way, I guess in the next month or so, we should have that next wave of Zombie Sailor figures. Then Series 4 coming at the end of September, so get your money ready, get your dollars ready for the, I guess, straight order, no pre-order. But where are the Elite style figures? Hopefully those are around the corner a little bit sooner rather than later. And speaking of Elite style figures, we're going to Grapplers and Gimmicks for their Regium line. You guys, we've talked about this a few times on the channel. We've talked about Al Snow, but it looks like Mitch and the team over there have pivoted, yes, pivoted, and they have went to the Elite style figures with the bends and the articulation, which I think is a good move. I do think a lot of people are looking for Elite style figures to mix and match with their Mattels, so we are going to get that out of this Al Snow, and then presumably the rest of the characters that will come out of this line. Old Tony Norris, we know him as well, so we'll see what happens there, but very interesting. Can't wait to get those in my hand. Will it be 2024? The way he's pumping stuff out, I would have to imagine it'll be sometime in 2024, so we'll look forward to seeing those once again here at the table. That should be the theme of this video right here. But that looks to be everything I have for wrestling right here. A lot going on in the wrestling world this week, and a lot more to come the next couple of weeks. We'll just have to stay tuned for that. But we're going to dive into a few other things. How about we dive into NECA? NECA full guns blazing, headed towards San Diego Comic-Con, and on Friday they did announce the Eastman and Laird original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2-pack will be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. It makes sense. I think it's warranted in action figure form, but it does feel a little bit of a downer compared to last year with those Turtles 3 figures that a lot of people have been wanting. I don't know. I'm not over the moon with NECA's solicitations for San Diego Comic-Con so far this year. We've, of course, got that Nosferatu and Alf I will be picking up. I'll be picking up this Turtle one as well. Not sure I'm going to pick up the Earl Sinclair Superhero Edition. I feel like the dinosaurs, how many Earl Sinclairs do I need? And I think that'll be the third Earl Sinclair figure at this point. But it is different. It does fit a San Diego Comic-Con theme being a superhero, but that's another exclusive they got going on. We did see the Predator one, the Flash Gordon one. Those aren't going to be for me either. So going to save a little bit money. That's okay with me, no doubt about it. So we got those coming from NECA. But we weren't done with NECA reveals this week. We got the Ben Cooper Kids. We did see those as a NECA store. Now we're getting those out to other retailers. We got 2 of them coming to Walmart later this summer, I guess. And I would expect the rest of those, maybe the other ones, go to Target before they go to worldwide release everywhere else. So if you're looking for those kids, those trick-or-treater kids, stay tuned. You might be able to get those at other retailers. So very cool. I passed on the originally. If I see them in stores, I may end up picking these up. So we'll see what happens right there. We did see, of course, over there at Target this week, the Vecna, He-Man, and the Bebop Rocksteady Turtles of Grayskull 2-packs. Both of them, I guess, is it a 2-pack? I guess it's their version of 2-Bad. So it's kind of a 2-pack, but kind of not. But the Vecna He-Man is definitely a 2-pack. Those went up Friday at Target for pre-order. So if you're after those, sounds like they're shipping in October. So check those out if that is your thing. We also saw Mattel Creations. We talked about it last week. It did go up for pre-order. Pretty smooth, I would say. Night Stalker, the steed, the horse, the vehicle, whatever you want to call it. It is up on Mattel Creations right now if you're collecting your He-Man figures. That is over on Mattel Creations. So pick that up if you do need it. Some big news from Super 7 this week. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the newer series of Turtles, I guess we'll say. The cartoons, I think it was on Nickelodeon back in the day, wasn't it? But it is the updated Turtles, but we got new articulation with the Ultimates. And it'll be interesting if this carries over to other Ultimates in the future. Be very interesting to see how that nets out here. I'm going to pick these up. By no means are these my Turtles. I've seen maybe an episode or 2 of these. I maybe not even that. I think I have, though. But definitely not my Turtles. You know me, my first favorite cartoon Turtles is the original. Makes sense with my age bracket, probably. But very cool. Definitely admiring these. And I don't think I'm going to admire them from afar. I'm going to pick these 4 up, see what all the fuss is about, see what this new articulation's about. But a lot of people have been looking for these Turtles. Supposed to be announced a while back, finally announced now. So we'll see how these do at retail, or at least as far as pre-orders on the old DJC Collectibles, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description down below, as we always do say. We also saw some G.I. Joe stuff this week, and it is Yojo June, an amazing month. What a month to be alive, really, with Yojo June. But we saw Nemesis Immortal. Get out of here with that. It's Nemesis Enforcer. We saw Nemesis Enforcer. We knew he was coming. We saw him displayed in box. Can't wait to see him at San Diego Comic-Con. Nemesis Enforcer, one of my all-time favorites. I'm of the team of I love some Cobra Law. I love the crazy elements of G.I. Joe. I know some people like the straight military, but where I was growing up, man, that was all. I was all in on Cobra Law, especially Nemesis Enforcer. Sergeant Slaughter's greatest opponent of all time, as I've always said, and I even tagged Sergeant Slaughter on the old X, Sir Paul 64. He retweeted my post, so I am fairly confident now Sergeant Slaughter finally knows what's a Nemesis Enforcer. I've told that story numerous times. I'll give you the abridged version real quick. I met Sergeant Slaughter maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. What is time, as we say? And I said, Sarge, I've been meaning to ask you all these years. I said, I wanted to hear the lowdown on your greatest opponent, your greatest battle of all time. And I think he sat there thinking I was going to say Warrior, probably. Hulk Hogan, maybe. Pat Patterson, likely. No, I said, what about the Nemesis Enforcer? How did that go down? And he just looked at me dead in the eye and said, what's a Nemesis Enforcer? So things have changed over the last 10 years. Sarge has finally hit to the Nemesis Enforcer, and he didn't call him Immortal, which I really did appreciate as well. So the Sarge going to be able to do battle all these years later, just like it was 1987 or whatever it was all over again. We're going to do it in 2024. Sergeant Slaughter versus Nemesis Enforcer. Truly, what a time to be alive for Yojo June. I'm here for that all day long. Twice on Sunday. But we're not done with G.I. Joe news. Man, I'm zipping through this today. I'm zipping. We got Super 7 Storm Shadow version 2. Of course, we just got a Hasbro announcement of that a couple of weeks ago. Now we're getting a Super 7 one, and this hasn't officially been announced, been making its way around the internet. boy, I don't know about this one. I understand getting the most out of your molds. I understand these repaints. This looks like a stretch to me. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see it in hand or see it in person, but it looks pretty rough, all things considered. And I don't know what's going on with that G.I. Joe line. I enjoy it. I've always wanted cartoon depiction of my G.I. Joe characters, but this one seems to be a little bit of a misstep here. And obviously this one I don't believe was even in the cartoon unless it was in the Deke series. And a lot of people hunt for that Deke. We know. There's people under here hunting for that Deke as well, I think. But who knows? Who knows what's going on with that Storm Shadow? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I did see that floating around this week as well. Pre-order City over at Mondo. Of course, Mondo, they have the timed editions, and I did pick up the Cyclops. I was having a little of that Cyclops anxiety this week. Only 1,500 produced of the deluxe version. Then there's the standard edition that was $20 cheaper. The deluxe one sold out in about an hour or so. I'm all in on the Mondo X-Men and the He-Man from Mondo, but man, is it expensive. It is very expensive. Been opening a lot of trap jaws on the channel. Got a lot more Mondo figures to unbox, so stay tuned to the channel the next couple of weeks as we try to work our way through them, and I got to figure out still where I'm going to display them. My wife came in with a hot suggestion, which I couldn't believe, so we'll see if we end up doing that. I guess stay tuned to the future whenever we do a toy room tour again. A lot of changes to come in that one. Just got to get the time to do it, and man, what is time? I can't find any of it as of late, but we'll see what happens there. But then finally, it looks like the last bit of news this week. I did do a special video early on this week. It was on Marvel Legends, the Hasbro live stream. Won't rehash all that here. It's all about the Strange Tales, though, so if you're looking for that, Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. Entertainment Earth, use discount code Kyle. DJC Collectibles, 8 off DJC. Go over there, pick up your Strange Tales waves. I'm pretty excited for that Black Heart and some of the other ones. We'll see what happens. But Marvel Legends coming out with a lot more stuff this week as far as announcements. Makes you wonder what's going to happen at San Diego Comic-Con. Will we see these in person? I would assume so. But will we also get a ton of more announcements at San Diego Comic-Con? Can't wait to see. Can't wait till they announce all the times of all the shows and the panels and stuff. Because last year there was a lot of anxiety as they overlapped panels. McFarlane and He-Man overlapped, I think, last year. AEW and G.I. Joe overlapped. I hope this year some of those toys don't overlap. Because that's what I'm going for. I don't care about this Hollywood business. I'm here for the toys. I want to see McFarlane. Want to see G.I. Joe. Want to see Super 7. Want to see those big rubber guys. Want to see Mattel. Want to see Jazzwares. I want to see it all. I want it all like a young Freddie Mercury, I guess, at the end of the day. Who knows? But speaking of Freddie Mercury, well, not really, but it is a good segue into the Album of the Week. All right, Album of the Week time, and I guess this relates to Album of the Week a little bit. Super 7 reaction figures announced this week. Talk about catching me by surprise. This is about my hip-hop knowledge, about as deep as it goes. We are getting third base reaction figures. We got old Pete Nice, old MC Search. Man, oh man, playing Kyle's early 90s, maybe early 90s, I think that was. All the hip-hop hits. Probably the greatest hip-hoppers, rappers, whatever you want to call it, of all time would be third base. Pop goes the Weasel, because the Weasel goes Pop. Could not believe they're making reaction figures. Apparently, they must be bigger stars than I think they are, not just in my brain. So very cool there. Don't know if I'll take that next step to get those. But you come out with third base Ultimate Editions, hey, sign me up all day long. I'm here for that. So shout out to Pop Goes the Weasel. Shout out to third base. Who'da thunk it? But Album of the Week this week is a little serial killer action. It is Green Jelly. You guys remember Green Jelly, the former Green Jello, of course. Haven't listened to them in a long time, but man, I absolutely loved them when I was in like 5th and 6th grade. And then later on, kind of forgot about them, kind of moved on. And then they came out the Carnage Rules, and they did the soundtrack for the Super Nintendo game. So Green Jelly always been around, still tours all these years. Got to admit, I've fallen out with their music. Haven't listened to a whole lot, but I just got the announcement the other day. June 30th, they're coming around the corner for me in concert. It's like an early Sunday night show. I may go. I've never seen Green Jelly in person. There was one other opportunity I had like a decade ago, and unfortunately I was out of town for work, so I had to miss out. But this one, I may end up hitting up. We'll see what happens. It made me think of Green Jelly, so I put on that original Serial Killer album. I forgot how much I like that. Electric Harley, House of Love. Sign me up all day long. Of course, Three Little Pigs. Everybody knows that song. That was the one that got everybody into Green Jelly. And I'll never forget, as a little kid in 5th grade, wanting to play the guitar so bad. I said, I want to play the guitar. I was getting into heavy metal. I was into the Faith No More, the Black Sabbath, the Ozzy, of course. I was into all that stuff in 5th grade. And I said, I need to play guitar. I need to get out there. And I remember just going, and my dad helped me sign up for guitar lessons and stuff. And I remember sitting down that first day at the guitar teacher, and he said to me, well, what kind of music do you like? And what do you want to learn to play? And I said, I want to play the Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly. And I remember him just looking at me like, this is the dumbest kid I've ever sat in front of in my entire life. And he said, hey, let's try Row, Row Your Boat. And then, of course, I quit guitar a couple weeks after that, I think it was, because I wanted to play electric guitar. I wanted it to sound, you know, like heavy metal and stuff. And when you're in 5th grade, at least for me, I didn't understand that an amplifier and there was effects and things that made the sounds. And I didn't want to play rotary boat. I didn't want to play like acoustic. I wanted to rock out. And years later in high school, maybe early college, whatever it was, I picked up the guitar again and really taught myself. And I'm by no means a guitar virtuoso. I mean, we played guitar on the channel. We've done a song or two over the years on this channel, but I know all my chords. I know every single chord by memory. I can still rock it out. You tell me it's going to be G, C, D, I'll say, okay, I can follow along, I can play. I'm by no means a soloist out there, but I remember as a kid just looking at him straight, yeah, I want to play Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly, and just the look of absolute shock, horror, and disappointment in young Kyle as he's just like, who is this guy? This guy was like a blues rock guy is what he was. He probably wanted to play some Stevie Ray Vaughan. Who knows what he was up to, but trip down memory lane with Green Jelly this week. You probably remember Green Jelly as well. Check it out if you haven't listened to it in a long time. That is the album of the week. And that is the news of the week. A very busy week. I don't think I took one breath this week. 26-minute video, whatever this was. Absolutely wild times in the toy news. But I'm interested to hear what you thought of this week. Anything you're excited for? Where do you sit on the old San Diego Comic-Con exclusives? You picking up any of these? Anything you're extra excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over on Patreon, including early access to both YouTube channels, plus tons of other stuff. Your best way to support the channel. Check out ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or cheaper through me if you do want a book. Hit me up on a Messenger or whatever, or wherever fine books are sold. And then Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for another toy news of the week, you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling to my own birthday party.